Hello students, in this video I will explain you inertia, types of inertia and applications of different types of inertia. So let's start the topic inertia. So what is inertia? Inertia like if you are taking this book is in which state? It is in the rest state. And till we will apply the force, it will remain in which state? Rest state. When we apply force on a book, then this book will come in which state? Motion. So it means that when an object is in the rest state, it tends to remain in which state? Rest. Until we will apply a force to change the state. Second example is like if a ball is moving. So this is which state? This is motion state. So if it is in motion state, it tends to remain in which state? Motion state. Until we are applying a force to bring this object to the rest state. Third is if an object is moving in this direction, like in straight direction car is moving. So car will tends to remain in which direction? Straight direction. Till the force is applied to change the direction. So this is known as what? Inertia. Inertia means like if an object is in rest state, it tends to remain in rest. If an object is in motion state, it tends to remain in motion. And if an object is in the same direction, it tends to remain in the same direction until force is applied to change the state. So this is the definition of inertia. The tendency of an object to resist the change of state is known as what? Inertia. Now one by one we will study what are the different types of inertia. There are three different types of inertia. One is inertia of rest. Second, inertia of motion, and third is inertia of direction. So I will explain you one by one all these inertia of rest, inertia of motion and inertia of direction. And I will take applications of these also. So first of all, I will explain you what is inertia of rest. Inertia of rest, like if an object is in rest state, it tends to remain in which state? Rest until force is applied to change the state. That is known as what? Inertia of rest. Now I will take one example. Now you can check in this, there is a one glass and on a glass cardboard is there. And in the center of cardboard, we have kept a coin. Now we will apply a force on the cardboard. So we are applying the force only on what? Only on cardboard. So the cardboard will come in which state? Motion. But the coin tends to remain in which state? Rest. Because it was in which state? Rest. This is because of which property? That is because of inertia of rest. So we have applied the force only on cardboard, not on the coin. So the cardboard will come in motion, but the coin tends to remain in rest state. Yeah, that's why the coin will fall in the glass. Only the cardboard will move. This is because of property of inertia of rest. Now I will take applications of inertia of rest. There are so many examples with you can relate it with the daily life situations which are related to the inertia of rest. So first example is a passenger sitting in a stationary bus tend to fall backward when a bus starts suddenly. Like when a passenger is sitting in a stationary bus, it means bus is in the rest state. And when a driver will start the bus suddenly, then the passenger will fall in which direction? Backward direction. You can check in this figure. In this figure, the bus is in which state? Rest state. So passenger is also in which state? Rest. When a bus will start suddenly, then what will happen? The passenger will fall backward. So what is the reason behind it? If we will consider initially what was there? Bus and passenger was in which state? Rest state. Yeah. But when a bus will start suddenly, the bus will come in which state? Motion. And the passenger's lower part means the passenger's feet, which is in contact with the floor of bus, that will also come in which state? Motion. But the passenger's upper part tends to remain in rest state. Because of which property? Inertia of rest. That's why the person will fall in which direction? Backward direction. It means that the lower part will come in motion position when the bus will start, but the upper part tends to remain in the rest state because of which property? Inertia of rest. So to oppose that, the passenger will fall in which direction? Backward direction. So this is the explanation. When the bus starts suddenly, the lower part of passenger's body come in motion because it is in the touch of the floor of the bus, while the upper part of body tends to remain in rest due to inertia of rest. So the passenger tend to fall backward when it starts suddenly. Now I will take second example, second application. That is, leaves may get detached from a tree if we vigorously shake its branches. It means that if we are shaking the branches of a tree, the leaves get separated from it. What is the reason behind it? Now you can check in this figure. What is happening? We are shaking the branches of a tree. So the leaves are falling down. What is the reason behind it? If we are not shaking the branches, initially tree and branches were in which state? Rest. Now tell me, we are applying the force on what? We are applying the force only on the branches. So branches will come in which state? Motion. But the leaves tends to remain in which state? Rest. Due to which what will happen? It will get separated. So the branches will come in the motion state, but because we are applying force on branches. Are we applying any force on the leaves? No, we are not applying any force on the leaves. So the leaves tends to remain in the rest state, due to which the leaves get separated. So this is the explanation. Initially, leaves and trees both are in rest state. When the branches are shaken vigorously, it comes in motion, while leaves tends to remain in state of rest due to inertia of rest. So the leaves get separated from a tree if we vigorously shake its branches. It means on whatever we are applying the force, only that substance, only that object will come in motion, while the other one tends to remain in the rest. In this we have applied the force on branches, so the branches will come in motion. We have not applied force on the leaves, so the leaves tends to remain in the rest because of inertia of rest. So I have explained you two applications. You can relate more applications with the inertia of rest. Like if we are if we are beating the carpet with the stick, so dust gets separated from it. What is the reason behind it? This is also because of inertia of rest. Now I will take inertia of motion. So what is inertia of motion? An object tends to remain in motion state. It will oppose the rest state, and it will come to rest state when we will apply the force on it. So this is the definition of inertia of motion. An object is in motion and it tends to remain in motion until force is applied to change the state. Now, this is the example. This satellite is in which state? Motion. So, it tends to remain in motion state until we are applying the force to bring it to the rest state. Now, we will take applications of inertia of motion. Now, the first application, a passenger standing in a moving bus tends to fall forward when a bus stops suddenly. Same in this example I have taken in inertia of the rest. Now, in the inertia of rest, the passenger was falling backward when the bus will start suddenly. Here, what is happening? The passenger is sitting in a moving bus or standing in a moving bus, and the passenger will fall forward when a bus stops suddenly. Where due to which what is done? That's why it is advised that we have to wear what? Seat belt while driving a car. Now you can check in this figure, the bus is in which state? The bus is in motion state, and passenger is sitting, and as well as some passengers are standing. Now when the driver will apply the brakes, then the passenger will fall in which direction? Forward direction. So in the same manner, like I have explained in inertia of rest, in the same manner I am explaining in inertia of motion. So initially tell me, bus and the passenger are in which state? Motion state. When a bus will stop suddenly, so bus will come in which state? Rest. And the passenger lower part which is in contact with the floor of bus, that will also come in which state? Rest, because the bus is coming in rest. So the passenger's lower part of body will also come in which state? Rest. But the passenger's upper part of body was in which state? It was in motion state. That's why it tends to remain in the motion state. So to oppose that, the passenger will fall in which direction? Forward direction. That's why it is advised that the driver has to wear a seat belt while driving a car. So this is the explanation. When the bus stops suddenly, the lower part of passenger's body comes in rest because it is in the touch of the floor of bus, while the upper part of body tends to remain in motion due to inertia of motion. So the passenger tends to fall forward when it stops suddenly. Now, second application. An athlete is advised to come to stop slowly even after finishing the race. You have seen, even after completing the race, an athlete covers some distance. That what is the reason? Now you can check. Athlete has covered the finishing race. Even after covering that distance, athlete runs some distance. What is the reason behind it? Because the athlete was in which state? It was in which state? Motion. And if an athlete will stop suddenly, then the athlete can fall in which direction? Athlete can fall in the forward direction. Because of which property? Inertia of motion. Because the athlete was in which state? Motion. So it tends to remain in motion. And to oppose that, then what will happen? The athlete can fall in forward direction. So this is the explanation. It is due to inertia of motion. When he suddenly stop, if he will stop himself suddenly, so his lower part of body will come into which state? Rest, because it is in touch with the ground. But his upper body will remain in which state? Motion, which will cause him to fall, due to which athlete will fall in which direction? Forward direction. You can relate more examples with the inertia of motion. Now the third, last one, that is inertia of direction. Inertia of direction means if an object is moving in the straight direction, so it tends to remain in the straight direction, it will oppose other direction. Now, like it is the definition, an object tends to remain in the same direction unless force is applied to change the state. Now, what is that applications of inertia of direction? The first is a luggage is usually tied with a rope on the roof of the buses. So, what you have seen if a luggage is kept on the roof of the bus, it is usually tied. Why it is usually tied with the rope? Because then the bus is moving in the straight direction. So, the luggage tends to remain in the straight direction. It will oppose the sideward direction. So, when it will oppose the sideward direction, and if a bus will stop suddenly and bus will take a sharp turn, then the luggage can also fall sideward. It can also be related to the inertia of motion as well as to the inertia of the rest. Now, this is the explanation. A luggage tends to remain in the same direction in which the bus is moving. Like if a bus is moving in a straight direction, so luggage tends to remain in the same direction. And when a bus will take turn, then the luggage can also fall sideward due to inertia of direction. It can also happen with you. Like if you are sitting in a car and a car is moving in the straight direction, so you tends to remain in which direction? You tends to remain in the straight direction. And when a car will take a sharp turn, then you can also fall sideward.